Okay, Blake Cohen, we are live.
Thank you for honoring my retirement.
Not retiring. You're just getting started, my friend. So so I'm Amanda Marino, co-founder of Next Level Recovery Associates. In 4 days, I will be the sole owner of Next Level Recovery Associates. This is Blake Cohen, my 4-year business partner. Go ahead,
I guess
Blake.
I'm still a co-founder
Always be
for,
a founder.
I'll always be a co-founder, right?
Someone tried to say to me the other day, now you're just the founder. And I said, nope, I'm still the co-founder. I'm just the owner now.
I think that was me and you talking.
No, it was not me and you. I'm going on someone's podcast and they were asking me, oh, are you now the founder? And I said, no, I will always be the co-founder. But now I'm just the owner.
There you go. There you go.
So we've had many years, for those of you who have known Blake and I and have followed us, we have had many of these. Oh, why are you switching us? What is that, your better side?
I just have OCD. I like the host to be on the left.
Oh my God, you're so weird. I would never even have noticed, except for notice you switched my mid-conversation. So if you have known Blake and I personally, or even known us virtually, we've built so many relationships over the years. You know, Blake and I have been friends since 2013. We worked together in a small psychologist-owned program. Blake was admissions, I was outreach. And we just kept this relationship, friendship going on parallel paths, and started this business venture. And we really started in January of 2020. We just weren't on paper till March of 2020 because we remember we did that one. We did an intervention together, and that's when we had a conversation.
I remember that one very well.
We could write
never forget it.
But yeah, so we've gone through like this actually is where we kind of started, right? Like we started with the podcast as a partnership, overcoming adversity. Then we built a business in the pandemic. And this is what we did. We came on video. Like we had no choice, but this is how we marketed.
Right. No, I mean, this is where I think that was like sort of a test of how do we interact with each other, that podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember you reaching out to me because I had started to try to do some outreach in 2019 or 2018-ish, in 2019. And I just, as much as I loved where I was working, it just wasn't a fit for me in terms of doing that. And I really wanted to get back to doing direct client care and speaking with families. And when you reached out to me, it was just such a huge risk to take at the time because I had a stable job. But, at the same time, there was something in me that just felt right. And it's interesting because it's sort of what I'm feeling again now, is that there's something interesting saying, okay, it's time, you gotta make that next jump. It's time to move on to the next chapter. So as bittersweet as it is to walk away from Next Level, I can't express enough gratitude to just the growth that's occurred over the last almost 4 years working with Next Level and being a business owner and just balancing everything that's come from it. It was the greatest learning ground I could ever have imagined.
Yeah, when I look, of course, like the past, knowing that you're transitioning out, like it's hard to not, it's like, you have your recovery anniversary in a few days. Like whenever you have a recovery anniversary, you have some significant place in time, right? Like that's why, like when I made my video, I was like, we started this business together, and I'm like, no, that doesn't even like define it. Like it's like an era, a place in time. Like so much has transpired in these 4 years in both of our lives, personally, professionally, you with your continued education, that it's like, you reflect back on it. How can you not, and like, how did we build a business at the beginning of the pandemic? Like how the hell did we get through that? Where we had to do in-person services when I remember flying to the Atlanta airport with Mark, and there was literally nobody in Atlanta airport. But I felt like I was young and healthy, that like that was my responsibility.
I mean, it's like, I know I've told this story 1,000 times, but like, it was so interesting starting school the same day that we started the business. And the first class that I was in on accident, because I started the class order, like the courses were supposed to go in order. You're supposed to start with like intro to leadership or whatever it was. I didn't know that. There was no advisor for me at the time because COVID just hit. And so I just picked a random class that was within the curriculum. And it was strategic planning and adapting to change was the course that we were in. I was in as we started this company in the middle of a pandemic where all of a sudden all of our plans just had to change and shift. And we had to decide like, how are we going to get through this? And, but again, it was really cool because we got to explore all these different new ways of doing things and really just learn to roll with it and not get too attached to any specific plan. It was really interesting.
I actually, in hindsight, feel like we actually had the upper hand, right? Because so many people were used to doing things this way that they were like this culture shock of like, oh my God, what do we do now? Like we worked with many providers. I don't know if you remember that one adolescent program in New York, like they could not figure out how to switch their curriculum to like online stuff. And like so many people struggled. I'm like, oh my God, what do we do? We've always done it this way. And like for us, it was like we were still in our implementing and learning phase. So for us, it was like, it was easy.
Yeah, I don't think we had our first intervention as a company until after the pandemic started. So it was like, okay, so what do we do now? How do we make this work? And it was a lot of iPads and technology involved and driving to different places because planes wouldn't take off and trying to just figure out what way to make it work. And, we did interventions, but we also did case management. We did coaching. We did a bunch of things, companioning, and everything had to shift how we did everything.
Absolutely.
And made us crazy at times, having to sit in front of a computer screen all day. At times to coach people or to meet with families and try to, I know I was living in like a 1-bedroom apartment at the time and my wife was working from home in like 20 feet away from me and having to talk to these families with my wife there, who's also on a call for her job. And it's like, just trying to navigate that was just
remember I had the kids home trying to figure out online schooling.
Oh my God.
And I remember we wanted to be able to connect with people. So we started the next level networking Zoom event. And that was like a hit. We highlighted a few professionals each time and we got to, really connect. For us, it like, again, in hindsight, it was hard as heck in it. And so much like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Strategy and pivoting and all that stuff, like you said. But like in hindsight, like we would have never been able to nationally brand the way we were in our first year if it hadn't been for the pandemic.
I forgot about that networking Zoom.
Yeah. Oh,
we did highlight somebody.
We did
totally
that.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was epic. And people were always asking me, can I join? How can I come? Like, and then we'd highlight different people and let them have a space. And we just, that's why a lot of people in our industry look at you and I as like leaders in this like social media kind of, technology space. We're not like leaders in it. Like if you look at the industry as a whole, right, we're kind of like, we're decent, right? We're good at it. But in the behavioral health industry, super behind, right? And so you and I were like, oh my God, you guys with your social media. Oh my God, you guys with your content. But like, that's like how we had to build our business. We had no other choice than to go that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was like something that you and I were kind of used to doing already. And I think people were just, for some reason, and still are, although it's getting better. I'm seeing more like TikToks and reels from therapists and behavioral health people. People are starting to get on that train. But I don't know, people for the longest time felt weird about marketing themselves on social media. But to me, social media is a great opportunity to show your authenticity and to show what's going on with you and show what you're offering and your services and to discuss these topics. It's a great place, considering also social media is a place where that destroys mental health. I think it needs more than ever to know that there's people who are overcoming mental health issues and treating mental health issues and talking about this stuff publicly.
That's actually when I was talking to Candace last week, and I think I closed with it with her. Like she was sharing that it's, something she's not comfortable with and she doesn't do. And I was like, honestly, like someone like you, or like someone like one of the programs that we work with a lot that I recently reached out to and let them know, hey, you guys aren't on Google Maps or Apple Maps. There is no website for this specific program. Like I noticed all these things just because I notice all them and I know how stellar they are. And I'm like, it's almost a disservice to have a quality professional that is like doing the right thing and has quality programming and like is the best of the best to not be out there, because there's terrifying people out there. So I I took on the it's my responsibility to do interventions in person during COVID. I have also taken this on that, like, I am a good person doing good work. I have the best, psychiatrist, psychologist, dietitian, like all the people on my team to be the best of the best of where areas that I'm not educated in. I'm responsible to put this out there. I'm responsible to put out quality content. Like it's my responsibility and duty, I feel.
Yeah.
And it's a shame if you're quality and you don't. And if you're scared to do it for your first time, Amanda Marino to the rescue. I will come to your office. I will make your first reel with you. Blake did it for me. I was scared to make my first reel. He made mine first one at his house. I helped Ashley from Mangrove make her first reel. I've helped a lot of people do their first video. And once you do the first one, it's okay after that.
I was just thinking, like, with how you are with technology, I can't even imagine what it was like during COVID of trying to help your kids do online school.
Yeah.
Like, just the little things that I know about you when it comes to like kind of overcoming, like navigating new waters in technology is always a little bit scary for you. You always get it done. You always do well afterwards, and you do fine with it. But just like taking that first step for you is always a bit scary.
Yeah, it is. It's just like you. Obviously, I'm not a bit. I'm not alone in this because I've just watched many things on it and read many things on it. Like I don't love change. Change makes me uncomfortable. If it were up to me, everything would stay the same. Nothing would change. Everyone would stay in my life exactly where they are, and that would be it. But that's like the little girl abandoned Amanda, that wants that. And I think for, to be fully transparent, because I don't fluff, or I'm not a different person on social media. Like that's been the hardest element of you leaving. I can see you swallowing. You knew where I was going with that. The hardest element of you leaving for me is our connection and our relationship and our friendship. And you're literally my chosen brother, and you're, an uncle to my kids. And like, that's been the hardest piece. Do I think I'm capable? Am I ready for this challenge on a level? Like, F yeah. Like my badass bitch inside, like knows, yes, I'm ready for this. But my connection to you and knowing that you're not going to go anywhere, right? You're still going to be, but it's going to be different. Like I put the ornament on my tree from Vail, from our family created family version trip of you and your wife and Sarah while she was pregnant and me and my kids and at your family house. And like, that's so cherished to me. And those are so special. So like, I hate change, but apparently God wants me to get like, maybe I'm going to become an expert at change. Maybe that's what I'm meant to do because I hate it so much. But that's been the hardest thing for me about this change is the emotional piece. The rest of it is fine.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. I have a weird thing where it's like kind of the opposite for me of like, I kind of love change. And I've kind of looked at it as something bad a lot of my life of that. Like once things get too stable, I tend to shake things up. But I don't know, over time, for me, it serves me well. And I think it's looking at kind of like, what's the next platform I can jump to keep growing. And I love the idea of being put into a corner, like back into a corner, and I've got no choice and I've got to fight my way out during a change process of like, okay, I'm in this position now. What do I got to do? How do I make this work for me? And I kind of love that process of figuring out what's the next step for me.
I like the end result. I don't like that part.
See, that's the weird thing is like, I never get that fulfillment, never lasts very long for me with the end result. I get the joy of like the little victories throughout the process of like, oh, this is cool. We just figured this out. This is cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah. I'm becoming a master at change, so like literally within 2 weeks, I went from on my knees, bawling, crying about you leaving. Like I knew it was potentially coming, from not getting invested in to you leaving. I went from like crying at Phil's house while I was working out, just pouring tears. Like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. It's just everything. To like 2 weeks later, like already like in full mode to like move forward. You know what I mean? So, but I have my process, my change process is the emotional piece. The logistical piece, I you know me, I figure shit out. I make shit happen. So I have some kind of gift with that, but it's the internal struggles that are the hardest for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I've seen that over the course of the years for you, and you have a process where things unfold. I think for me, it's like I usually don't feel anything until it's all said and done, and then I'm like, oh crap, what did I do? How do I get out of this? So it's
Right.
like it's just mine's like a delayed emotional
Well,
response.
that's why
Or
we've always balanced each other so well.
yeah,
You're an
I,
electrical brain, I'm emotional brain.
yeah.
And that's been a
I,
great partnership, you know?
I think I'm a logical brain until I get in bed at night, and then all of a sudden I can't sleep, and every worst fear, everything I've ever done in my life, like something like a comeback I could have had in third grade to a bully or something, comes in my head, and I just beat myself up. So I'm logical during daylight hours, and then like a werewolf, my brain just turns into like an anxious mind, and I go hunt
You
myself
definitely
down.
lost sleep over clients. So I'm looking forward to that for you to not lose sleep over fear of clients.
Do you think that's really going to change? No matter, I don't care what kind of client I'm working with. It's always going to be.
Well, I mean, when you're dealing with the intensity of some of the cases we have, like it makes sense to me what you would. I see, I'm good and calm with all that stuff, which is hysterical. Like you're good and calm with like all the other shit. When it comes to like high level intensity cases or like complicated things and either people not paying or people unhappy or people not following things or you know that I'm fine with. That I can lay my head on my pillow at night and I'm good.
Mhm.
And that's why I
Yeah,
want
it's
to
like
this work.
I'm good in the moment, but I'm not good in the in between periods of like the stuff that goes on, the minutia in between. It's funny. I was talking to one of my advisors for school, and she was talking to me about making the shift. So okay, so I guess if anybody's listening or listens doesn't know, so I'm getting my doctorate now in leadership and organizational psychology. Which, by the way, it's officially changed. The degree title is now leadership and organizational psych. They
Hmm.
added that to it. And I was talking to the advisor, and the goal for me is to move away from direct patient care and start working towards like larger system-based care, workplaces, organizations, cultures, communities, and trying to work on fixing that. And the way that I've always looked at it is that while I think the work that we do and that Next Level does is very important of helping to fix and helping to work with people to find their recovery process, I look at it as if we're treating symptoms of a bigger problem. So for me, the idea is, okay, how do I step up to the bigger problem? How do I step up to the bigger problem and help fix that issue? So that maybe on a higher level, if we can solve that problem, we're going to have less of the symptom-based problems that we're treating on an everyday basis. Because as much as again, it's important, I don't want to take business from anybody who treats symptoms, but the idea is that it's a never-ending flow. And it's like what I always found frustrating was that we help one client, they get better, but then a new one walks in the door, or 10 more new ones walk in the door, and it's like it's just a never-ending cycle and seems to only be getting worse. So we've got to find ways to fix it at an organizational, system-based level. But anyway, so now after that long-winded rant, I was talking to my advisor, and she was talking about she was formerly a mental health counselor and worked in addiction. And she's like, it's interesting. You go from working with that population to where the day-to-day crisis can be life and death. And it could be really traumatic and really scary stuff going on. And that if they don't accept the care, they don't move forward with the work that you're trying to do with them, it can be really serious and life-changing. Then you move to like an organization where like you're walking in to help have a conversation about somebody keeps stealing somebody's lunch in the lunchroom. Like that's the biggest problem that you deal with. And they're like, she's like, the best part of doing this work is you take your skills from working with those really high intense situations and you move to more of an organization level where you help improve communication. And it doesn't cause your adrenaline, your fight or flight to kick in when
For
you're
you
dealing with it.
and the way you think, it's definitely a good move.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love it. And I think it'll help me be more effective. Is that not, I mean, look, I love doing the work we did, but I can't help but getting emotionally charged and emotionally invested and worried. It's just my nature. And I've tried to work on that so many times, but for whatever reason, these life or death scenarios just cause me too much anxiety. And that's okay.
And that's I heard and validated. And I think the most beautiful part of this process is that you recognizing that, you finding, through your schooling, this new area of passion. And like I said on my, Dear Blake video, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, the Blake that became my partner 4 years ago would never have the audacity to do this, what you're doing today. And I'm so proud of you for choosing you and doing what's best for you and following your heart and your dreams. I mean, I've done that many times in my life with so many different things, with love, with just personal choices. And sometimes people are like, why are you doing that? And nobody understands. But like, if you know in your gut and your core that you have a calling, you have to follow that in life. Like, and if you don't, you'll live with regrets. And like, never once when I feel something the way you feel, the way you share, you feel about this journey, it's never gone bad. It's always been the right move, And so like, I honor you and I honor your growth, because I've watched your confidence and your belief in yourself and your capabilities and your, knowing your worth and your value just so increase over the past few years that I just give you so much credit.
Well, I appreciate that. And I know when we had the discussion about me saying that just this work isn't fulfilling me anymore, and I found something that I love, that I really want to explore. I know your response was, well, I still want to keep doing this work. And you had that same conviction of, I love doing what we do at Next Level, and I want to keep doing it. I want to keep elevating it. I want to keep getting better, collaborating with more and more people. And you want to do it. Which I think is also really commendable. And to know that like this is aligned with you and you don't have the same feelings, you don't feel the same way that I do. And that's great. I'm glad Next Level is going to keep living on without me. That's what I want. I want nothing but success for Next Level. And I know that with your passion behind it, I think you're being put into a position right now where, you shared the leadership of the company for the last 4 years. And so for both of us, it didn't require us to be fully present at all times, or for us to be able to fully follow what our vision is, because we've had sometimes the same vision, sometimes different visions. I think you're being put in a position now where you can grow the company in the way that you've always seen it, and you can do the things that you want to do. And I think you're also being put in a growth position where you have to step up now, because now you're the full-time leader of the company and you can't take those leadership breaks. And it's going to be the most challenging and probably the most rewarding journey of your life.
It's almost comical, because like I've also put up things like which is my truth. Everything that I thought I wanted and planned for all year is the opposite of what is happening. And like, the fact that I'm laughing about it now instead of crying is a beautiful thing, because I can think all day that something should be this way and I want it this way, but then God has other plans, right? My plans aren't always the way that things work out, and that's just life, right? And anytime that there's been a huge pivot like this, where like, oh, I'm going to, be invested in, oh, I'm going to, be able to focus on more of what I want to, and kind of come back on some of like all of those things I thought I wanted. I'm actually, now that I'm back in the trenches more, like I'm actually enjoying it. I feel like I have a greater handle on everything that's going on. I feel like I'm much more just, it feels right. And so what I thought I didn't want is probably going to be the best thing for me. And it's already going really well. So, and it hasn't even like, it's not like official yet,
Yeah, no, I know it is. And things just kind of have a way of manifesting for you when you have that mindset.
I'm good at I'm a good partner. Like, I'm good in a partnership. I'm good at like you said, it's protected me, like knowing that you have that. And then also like, if you and I tiffed or didn't agree on certain things, like I respected you enough to like meet in the middle and hear you, and same thing with you. Like, I'm really good at this, but now it's going to have to be on me, and then relying on team support, but ultimately making the decision on my own.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything I've learned over the past 3 years of the master's and this last semester of this leadership doctorate, is that the leader is never there to fully take on everything. The leader's there to help empower the people who they work with, and to really make them the focus of it. And you're surrounded by a great team of people, and it's really just focusing on what they can do and and just being sort of that maestro in the middle, orchestrating all the beautiful things that Next Level is going to do.
Yeah, I feel extremely supported, one, by our team, by you, by professionals in the community. Like, everyone has been very gracious, and Blake and I were very mindful with, our sharing of our news, because unfortunately there's a lot of lovely, amazing, wonderful people in our field, but there's also people that are ready to look for some kind of chaos and drama. And sorry, guys, not here. There's none of that. We love each other, and we are cheering each other on, and we're supportive, and we're leaving in a peaceful way. But we had to be really intentional with how we shared our news, because unfortunately I've heard so many things about myself before I told people, because that's just the way it is. Behavioral health can have the best, most healing people, and can also have the most toxic, unwell people. And so we were super intentional with how we put it out there. But I feel extremely supported. I feel extremely empowered. Like I had that, like when I took that video the other day, I was like, my daughter was getting her hair done, and I was just like walking to go get, search this whole strip mall for my sister for a diet orange soda and my daughter something to eat. And I just felt like, oh my God, it's going to be a woman-owned business and woman run. Like Sarah's going to move up. Matt's going to move up. Danielle, like in the first quarter, I'm just going to kind of like let things see how they happen. But like, there's plans for everyone to move up and take on more responsibilities. And I just felt like super empowered. Like, this is cool. Woman owned, woman run. I'm feeling that, I had to share that moment.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. And I think that we need more women ran companies around, and need more women kind of showcasing that and celebrating that. I know you did say also it was interesting that like immediately when men heard I was leaving, men reached out to you. And to me, I think it's just wrong. Like they reached out in a sense of like, hey, I heard the man's leaving. Do you need another man to come in? And it's like that whole toxic masculinity, men thinking that they're so important and that they need to rescue every woman. I just think is so wrong. And I know that wasn't everybody's intention who reached out.
No, definitely. But you also had the same thing, vice versa. All the women reached out to you.
I don't think they reached out for help. I think they reached out for they wanted the inside scoop, I think. But then they were disappointed when I was like, I said everything.
Did men reached out to me and women reached out to you? And I find that bizarre, because like the way I am, if I knew both of us, I would reach out to both of us and say, hey, congratulations to you, Blake and Amanda, like awesome for like, but that's me. I've learned not everyone moves like I do. Definitely not in our field, but and then there are some people that, like Sarah, who works for us, was like, I didn't understand why you and Blake were so like, intentional with how you put it out there, and like why. And she goes, all kinds of people call me and ask me like, what really happened, and there's nothing. Sorry. So sorry. Hi, Sarah. And she's like, Amanda, you were right. Like, it is like that out there. You know what I mean? And we've been in this field for 10 years. We know how to protect ourselves, and we don't want anyone to destroy our friendship. F that.
Well, that was our intention. Like, let's just get ahead of it, because if it's like, if all of a sudden we just say on the 31st, like Blake is no longer part of the company, you know exactly like all the rumors. I mean, we've always said, and one of the biggest tenets of Next Level has always been over communication and effective communication. And part of that is being transparent. And first of all, to me, that creates trust, right? So effective communication creates trust. And so for us to be able to get out of things and get out in advance of it and just say, hey, look, guys, this is what's happening. This is why, this is what's going on. It doesn't leave people to fill in the blanks with some type of crazy story or some type of rumor. You explained it up front, and you're protecting, and you're just saying like, look, guys, this is what's happening.
And they can,
the best, please.
They can, and they still can try. But if you watch your video and my video and you don't see the most pure, authentic, raw hearts, then I don't know what to tell you. Like there's no room left between your video and mine. Like, that's exactly how we feel. That's exactly what's going down. And we're not phonies. We're not personas. We're not putting on a show. We're not trying to make people think we're us always. Whether you see us at an event, whether you see us online, whether you hang out with us in person, we're the same. There's no multiple versions of Amanda and Blake. Like, this is it. Right. So
yeah. I do want to say also, though, now that I see Sarah's on here, that outside of everything we've discussed and between us as well, I think one of my favorite outcomes of this decision for me to kind of refocus my career was seeing what Sarah said in her post about being her working with me being one of the best like employment experiences of her life, and like the growth, and like her, even though she knows I hate the word boss, her saying that like me being her boss, how much it helped her, just to me, like that was like so fulfilling and just made me feel so worthy in the moment of like that was the goal, right? Like we've always wanted to make sure we took care of everybody who we've worked with and help them grow. And so for her to acknowledge that just meant the absolute world of me. And like being her boss was the best part of this whole career, this whole part.
Yeah, no, it's been so just want to thank you both for believing in me. Blake, what did you learn the most about co-founding Next Level Recovery Associates?
Shut up, Sarah. Go away.
She's the first question, so we have to answer it. What did you learn most, Blake? What was your greatest learning experience besides how to manage a very emotional business partner? What was your
besides that? There goes my answer.
God, you're so good with me. You are. You both are. God bless you both. A lot.
Why do you think I need to take like a month off after this whole thing is done? I need to go to a retreat.
Oh, God.
No, I'm joking.
I always come around. I just have a process that you are very, very aware and comfortable with at this point, I think.
Aware of. I don't know if comfortable, but aware of, I think, is accurate. It's okay. I keep looking down and I keep seeing this right here, and it says seek discomfort. And I think that's the thing that I've learned the most of this whole process from co-founding Next Level Recovery Associates. Thank you, Sarah. I think the thing that I've learned the most is that is to really challenge my discomfort, and to, when opportunities arise, when we see something needs to be fixed, or certain things are being done a certain way for years after years, and even though they don't make sense, to learn to really just say, I'm not going to deal with that anymore. Let's get our hands dirty. Let's get uncomfortable. And let's try something new. And I think what we've done, we've tried so many things as a company.
Yeah, we have.
So many things.
Yeah.
And a lot of them haven't worked out. And it was okay. But we got out of our comfort zones. We kept seeking discomfort and said, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's make a video about that. Let's try that. Let's do this initiative. Let's do this program. We've tried so many different things just to see, hey, what works? Let's see how it goes. And I think that was the most exciting part for me, is that I really have become comfortable with being willing to put myself out there and try new things.
That's awesome. Do you remember when we had to like ban ourselves from new ideas for a while? Like we literally were so burned out from new things. So Blake and I are like, we always want to grow. We always want to learn. We always want to do better. Like that's one area that we're like very much the same. What can we do different? What can we do better? What are other people doing that's not working? How can we do, whatever. But we came to a place last year. I believe it was like last year. We're like, there has to be these 3 things before we take on a new project. Cause we were starting books. We were starting virtual. We were starting like all kinds of shit in all different directions that we were like never finished anything, or we would try it a little bit and then we would be like, okay, no, not now. And then pull away. So we had to like ban ourselves from starting new things for a while. Do you remember that?
And I think too, there was like, we were trying to, in reality, we were trying to be good entrepreneurs and grow the company. So we kept coming up with ideas and we're like, let's go with it. But the problem and like the missing piece was that there were so many things that we weren't passionate about, that we were just trying just to try, or that we had a little spark of passion, but we never really explored. And that was the issue, is that we never like took the time to say, do we really want to do this? And do we want to commit to this long term? And if the answer was no, we probably would have stopped there. But instead we just said, hey, I got an idea. Let's roll with it. And I think we were really good at supporting each other's crazy ideas at times, we would both just say, okay, yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
I remember it was, I think, my live with Doug Penny, where he had those 3 things. Look, you're eating, I'm eating, you're swallowing pills. We're just really being
No,
ourselves.
again, my OCD coming in as I'm taking my vitamins at exactly at 12:30.
What's it called? The like, is there a need for it? Is there going to be money to make? Is it something we're passionate about? There was like the 3 things that, like,
I have to call Doug Penny out. Doug Penny got that from Good to Great, a book that
he got it and he shared it, and it stuck with me.
No, 100%. And what that's called is the hedgehog concept.
Yeah.
And because so a hedgehog being chased by a fox is agile, can move quick, can bite down, can do all of these things, can bury, can do this. But a hedgehog is good at one thing, and it's good at defending itself. It curls up into a ball and has its nice spikes and can protect itself. So they came up with the hedgehog concept, which is this something I'm passionate about? Is this something that can drive our economic engine or make us money? And is this something that we can be the best at?
Yes.
That's the hedgehog concept. And you have to find the services that are intersect right in between those 3 circles.
And we've done that over the years. We've seen what we've become great at. Like, we're great with companions. We're great with, we do things different with companions. That when I was a companion, the things that I went through and experienced, we've been able to do so much better. Like, we found the things that we're great at. We've definitely implemented a lot.
No, I agree.
So Sarah has another question. Boss is on the hot seat. What would you have done differently? Is there anything? That's a great question too, Sarah. Blake's gonna really hate you after this one.
She knows that I don't like to be called boss. I think the question's to you.
Hold on. To me?
Yeah.
No, it's to you, Blake.
You're the boss too.
I know, but Sarah, clarify. Who is this question for?
Both of us. You have to answer it too.
Okay. I'll go first since I'm fine with uncomfortability like this. What would I do different? A few things I've learned. Keep some of my personal struggles out of business hours. Not because there's such an enmeshment in our field. I've learned to keep people that are like on the outside of behavioral health, like keep my private life private, but I think I need to work on doing it more in my inner working of business. So I think that I will, I have therapists, I have supports, I have all these things. So I think that one thing I will do differently is bring less emotional stuff into the business forum. I think there was a lot of times that a lot of the heavy stuff I went through, because you feel the way you do, you were deeply affected by. And I remember at one point, you were like, Amanda, there's so many things you've gone through that, like, and you feel for me and you care. So I don't ever want to make someone feel like that again. So that's one thing I would do different. That's like the deep, right?
Yeah, that's deep.
Another thing I would do different is I would listen more. I like to talk. I'm working on listening more. So I would listen more. And, I've really worked on my reactiveness. Like, I used to be like with the reaction. I've definitely learned how to take a day, take a pause. So that I think has already like come night and day from where I was. And I would have more fun. Like, I think there was moments where we did fun things as a team and a group, and I want to make my intention to like make sure every quarter that like we do something fun and bonding as a team. Like I would have had it be a little bit more light and lively in moments of the team stuff. So those are my ones that come to my head and heart.
Well, you could have more fun now that the fun police is leaving.
Going on a boat right when Blake leaves. We're going boating.
There you go.
Celebration. See ya. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I want you guys to celebrate. It's a new chapter.
A new era.
Yeah. All right. What would I have done differently? I think I would have benefited from holding in things less. I think I don't know how sometimes to like share when there's something that I don't want to do or that I'm uncomfortable with something. And it takes me a really long time until things build up and then it comes out sideways or it comes out wrong or I get frustrated. And I have a really bad way of holding on to things. And somehow I hold on to things long enough and I turn it against myself.
Mm.
And then it somehow becomes like a self-deprecating, self-hating period of my life. And I think I went through that and then everything comes out sideways or angry or anxious and I lose sleepless nights.
Mm.
So I think I wish I got better at communicating uncomfortability in the moment or sharing my open, honest thoughts in the moment as opposed to like letting things build up. I think sometimes like expressing myself, even positive things, like it's hard and it's just not how I grew up and it's hard. It's uncomfortable for me at times.
You've
I
definitely
think
you've grown in
I
that area though. I'll tell you that.
yeah, getting there. I think also I wish was able to like celebrate victories more or to feel the successes of next level more. And I'm not like a pessimistic person. I wouldn't say like I'm negative, like a negative person, but I think like for whatever reason, it's like if something good happens, I look for like the negative at times to say like, well, it's not that good because this happened. And I wish I didn't do that as much. And that's another thing I'm working on. And then I think I just wish I stayed consistent with self-care practices throughout this whole period. Like I shouldn't be starting therapy right now. I wish I started therapy a little bit earlier. And I wish I stayed consistent with meditation. It just comes and goes. And like I know what it's like to feel great and grounded and mindful. And I know what it's like to feel completely destabilized, which is my new favorite word to describe myself. But that's also part of the reason why I'm leaving Next Level is there's so many things when people look for one reason, like I don't have one reason. I mean, yeah, I'm leaving because of school. I'm leaving because I want to switch be adjacent fields and move over to this leadership org psych stuff and really focus on that area of passion that I love. But I'm also leaving partly because I feel kind of like knocked off my seat a bit and I gotta like figure out how to get myself back on it. I'm destabilized, as I said, and I think I just need to take some time for the first time in my outside of getting sober early on and being in treatment for 90 days. I don't think I've ever just taken some time to say, okay, Blake, what do you want? What's going on with you? Sit still and design how you want your life to look right now. You are in complete control. And it's been a long time since I've challenged myself in that way. So I think me leaving Next Level, it's like for professional reasons, but also for personal and emotional and spirituality reasons.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And of course, it took me 43 minutes to get emotional. So that's a record. But as you were saying, what you were saying just reminded me of like, of how you balance me, like because your things were exact opposite of mine. So you said you want to express yourself more. I want to express myself a little less. You said you wanted to that you think in the kind of a negative tone. I think over toxic positivity sometimes. Like, I'm always believing the manifesting. I'm always believing it's going to work out. And sometimes like that's where I fall short because I expect everything to just be okay all the time. And sometimes it's fucking not. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoying the victory, like just everything that you said, it was kind of like just mirror or opposite of. And that's why you've been the best business partner for me because areas I fell short, you carried me. Um, the darkest times of my past 4 years, the hardest times you've carried me. Like I said, you've like not literally picked me up to the ground, but like literally picked me off the ground. And like I can't be where I am and I wouldn't be who I am without these 4 years.
I'm looking at this next era chapter, whatever you want to call it, as an opportunity for I think if we were yin and yang to each other, I think like the ultimate goal is to become yin and yang within ourselves and become more balanced in those areas. And we can't do that if we have somebody that we rely on for the other half of what we're supposed to be, the balance. Like
Yeah,
we have to find that balance within.
totally.
And that's what I'm looking for. When I say destabilize, I mean like unbalanced.
Yeah.
And I wanna be able to find that opportunity to like challenge myself to find. I think I see things positively, by the way. I think it's just like a large positive picture. And I'm positive for other people. It's very hard for myself. And I want to be positive for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think like that's what's going to happen in the next chapter is that we're going to have to find that balance ourselves, or like we're not going to be able to do this long term. We're going to have to find that balance and be able to be our own yin and yang.
Yeah. And I just had never I never ever imagined that this would be ever possible. Like I never imagined doing this without you. Um, so yeah, it's not what I wanted or what I chose. Like you said, you like quote on you know, you want this change. Like it's not what I wanted or what I chose, but it's what I'm gonna go with and I'm gonna make the best of it. And I'm gonna take it as an opportunity to become the best version of myself, to help my company be the best version of itself, to have our team be the best, you know, all of it. Like I'm going to give it my 110%. I'm not like that's one thing is tell me I can't do something and I'm going to show your ass like how good I'll do it. And then,
Yeah.
so that's one thing about me, you know, like I can feel all the things I feel behind the scenes and go through all the emotions that I go through. But when it comes game time, you know.
Yeah. I do think that was one thing that we were both really good at is sorry, my hits. One thing we were really good at is both anytime that we're doubted, it's like in both of our natures to say like, oh really? You don't think we can do this? Like watch what we put out and it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, just watch me win.
I have that. Watch me.
Oh, I love that. I never even knew that's what that said. Yeah, watch me. Yeah, now that is like, don't doubt me. And then there's been moments where like I've had things and I've like broken down like right before them, and you've been that, and I can be that voice for myself, and I've learned to be in many ways. Like, Amanda, come on, I know that once you just show up and you do it, you're gonna kill it, and it's gonna be great, and and like, and it is like I can have this whole thing before I walk into something. And then I'm there and I'm great and it's great and it's authentic and it's pure. It's not fake. It's not, you know, anything like that. But like I'm able to feel through what I need to feel through, push that to the side and show up for the things that I need to. And like, you know, I used to pray to feel the way I feel today, to feel in the, like when in my marriage, I tell people my ex-husband called me the ice princess. I felt zero emotions. Like I could never cry. I could never feel emotions. I just was like all goal focused, all centered on what was the next task to do, that I never even felt my feelings. So when I left my marriage, everybody was so shocked because they had no idea, because you would have never known. I made it all look pretty on the outside and I made it look all good. And like, I never want to be that person again. So if I'm a little messier, if I'm a little more emotional, whatever, I prayed for this moment. You know what I mean? And this is the most authentic, pure, raw version of me that I've ever been. And that also comes with being a woman in my early 40s. Like I feel the best I ever have, and that better than my 20s, better than my 30s. I'm going to rock my 40s.
There you go. I have an idea based off Sarah's question. And since that we talked about social media and authenticity, and like, I think it'd be cool to have like kind of another question of what advice do we have for each other moving forward?
Oh God, that's deep. You go first on that one.
You might as well do it. Well,
cry, so you go first on that one. So
I think, I mean, you said a lot of it. I think that you have gotten better in so many ways too. I think you finding that sense of balance for yourself, and getting comfortable with kind of removing the safety net a bit. Think of like, do you ever watch Modern Family?
no.
Oh my God, it's such a great show.
I'm
there's
older
like,
mom girl.
so Phil, the dad, is trying to do like a balance act on a tightrope. but there's a safety net under him, and he just keeps falling over and over and over again until he just says, you know what, and he removes the tightrope or removes the safety net and is able to get across on the first try. And I think sometimes we keep certain safety nets in place that protect us, but that are also hinder our growth and our ability to really shine. So I just want to see you to embrace that a bit more and embrace removing the safety net a bit more. I also would love to see on your social media more of like the authentic, like the bad times, and not just like talking about it, but like, really feeling and seeing some of like the hard times for you.
What do
I
you
think
mean?
a lot of, well, I think a lot of your social media is like really inspiring and motivating. And it's usually like when you're on the uptrend or you're feeling well. But I also want to see like there's that authentic side of you that is super vulnerable and endearing when things aren't going well, and talking like just from the heart about those struggles while you're going through it, and that you don't know the way out or what you're going to do next. Like I would love to see that like authenticity and truth come through, and to like balance out the winning side with the struggle side.
So just okay, just expand on that because I feel like I definitely do share a lot of the struggle. How could I do that better? Because I make stories about when things are hard, I make videos about when things are hard. I talk about how I'm getting through things. So like legit like cry on camera is what you're looking for? Because
I
like
guess, hey, I guess I didn't really think it all the way through, I guess.
because I really never want I really put a lot of mindfulness and energy into like not letting people think I have this perfect, beautiful life, right? Like, oh, look at Amanda. She travels and she's got kids that are beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
You
like
don't do that.
I never want to be that person. Like I fucking struggle. I go through some hard things. So I never want to be that person. So how can I do that better or different?
No, yeah, I don't think that you're being like inauthentic or you're just showing like the good side of life. I think I guess all I want is to see like more of, I don't know, like I've seen like you struggle in the times of like not knowing what to do or not even sure that it's going to be okay. And kind of seeing that like that genuine rawness in you of just, I don't know about crying on camera. That's a little bit
Yeah,
different,
that's what
but
I'm saying. Like I have that
I don't
balance.
know. I don't know. I guess I think about like I see a lot of your social media stuff is like it's very hopeful, and that's important. And it's sort of like you like telling yourself like, hey, I'm gonna get through this, I'm gonna be fine. So I guess you do show it. I guess more of like the
The
I
dark.
don't know. Actually, you know what? Maybe
Maybe just a little more of the dark because I'm showing it as I'm coming out of it, right? Or how I'm getting through it. But maybe I don't talk about when I'm in the darkness enough, And I think that
yeah.
you and Sarah truly see all the sides, right? And there is to be the like inside, and some people are like, oh my God, you got such a, you're so lucky, or you have the like people don't have a clue what I go through on a daily basis to just be a functional adult and to show up for my kids and be a mom and to travel and to just to do all the things, run a business and deal with these crazy families. Well, I'm sorry, not crazy families, intense families. That's the wrong word. Intense families with a lot of struggles and a lot of issues, that want me to have all the answers to have everything. And sometimes there isn't one, and the high pressure. So I don't think I talk about that stuff enough. And I'm definitely open to that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to get. I mean, listen, this was on the spot. I know I brought up the question myself, but like that's what I was just thinking. But I guess that's sort of what I was getting at was like,
I just wanted clarity because it's good for me because my spiritual guide has also shared with me that I need to do more of that. So I wanted clarity from you.
yeah, I see you like you share on the uptrend and you share when things are good. But like I also want to see of like I want to hear your frustrations. I want to hear your sadness. I want to hear what's going on and just have that honest conversation.
That's a whole no. I'm pretty vulnerable. That's a whole new level of depth of vulnerability. But I'm willing to take on the task, Cohen. I'm willing to take on the task.
That true connection comes on the other side of vulnerability.
True. Yeah, I'm pretty raw, but I can take it to the next level.
Nice.
Anything else?
One last next level pun.
Anything else that you would, whatever?
Um,
Doing?
Not that I can think of right now. I mean, I just think that you need to trust the process as you go through this, and rely on the team as much as you can for your honest support. Take their feedback, take their suggestions, Don't expect yourself to have all the answers.
And I think we do that. We've always done that. We always, yeah, that's
Right. But now it's on just you.
yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not the Amanda Show and Next Level. It is Next Level. It is the team. It is not about me. And I
Yeah.
think that we've always been that way. It's about our team. And people work with us. We don't like to
Right.
say work for us. I just, especially when I have friendships that work with me, I'm not going to say they work for me.
And to clarify, that's why I hate the word boss.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't like the power positions.
Yeah, it can't be. There has to be a level of respect, right? Of us being the owners, the leaders. There has to be a respect level, and that usually, and either people get with that vibe or don't, and that's okay because we've had some people that haven't. But there is also like we work together. We want to hear your input. You value you're in this case. You're just as valued. Like I wasn't like I was treated like a peasant on some cases I worked, like literally.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for you, what was the question again? Because I drifted into another time and space.
What like suggestions do we have for each other moving forward?
Suggestion for you. The first one that comes to my heart and mind you're starting to do is take care of yourself. You chalk things up that are big deals that you've gone through and kind of make them like, oh, well, they just are what they are. They just is what it is. And like, I think there's so much more to be dug up with that. You are one of the most remarkable, brilliant, kind, compassionate people I've ever known. And you don't see a fraction of what we see. And I hope that in this transition of you going through what you go through, that you see just a fraction of the most incredible person that we all see and look up to and admire and strive to be like in many ways. You've always seen that in me, and you've always been very vocal about what you see in me. And I see so much of that in you that I know is untapped. And that's going to go through, you're going to have to do some deep therapy work and things like that. So that's one thing I hope for you. I hope for you to never keep yourself small. You are a great big force, on your own, without me. And I just hope you continue to step into that, and whatever that looks for you, continue to follow your heart because it's gotten you this far, and allow yourself to just allow yourself to feel like I can do a little, like I can tone it down a notch. I'll give you a little bit. Allow yourself to feel, what you're going through, and honor that, and honor who you are, and honor what you feel, and honor what you're going through. And you don't have to be okay all the time. And like, you're great enough. I've told you this. You are amazing, beyond amazing, before you had a master's degree, before you started your PhD program, before you own Next Level. Like, you as Blake Cohen, as a human being, you're a remarkable human being. And all of those things are beautiful, awesome things to strive for and grow. But you were enough before any of that.
Okay. I'll take it. I will take it. I will not negate anything you said.
Yay!
I will listen to it.
And I want to thank you for like what you shared with me, that you shared with me that you wouldn't be able to do some of the stuff you're doing now if it weren't for the partnership with me. Like, I want to thank you for honoring that in me. And I want to thank you for all the dark times that you carried me through. Like, I wouldn't be here in the capacity that I am today. So thank you for how you've helped me grow, for the woman you've helped me become more of, for the belief, to helping me believe in myself. And thank you for honoring that I have done that for you too, because that means the world.
Definitely. No, I mean, it's true. There's like that whole seek discomfort thing I was saying earlier. It's like you've been the one to push me out of my comfort zone a number of times, and then it's like, oh wait, everything's okay after doing something hard or trying something new. Or I think the biggest challenge for me was recognizing worth and asking for what you're worth. And that to me was like, I was scared to send invoices to people that did work with us, because I was like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable asking for it. And like, I think you helped me recognize like the services that we offer, the profession that we have, our expertise have a value. And I think like attaching a monetary value to the work that we did, like helped me become more confident, I guess, in the work that we do. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I think it hasn't been an easy journey on both sides. And like, while you may have had more like emotional up and downs, like I had a lot going on, stacking on my plate. And like, I can be a little bit, what's the word? Like impulsive. I can like sign up for things. I can start a new project and all of a sudden become passionate or look for this or do that. And I think there was a lot of patience on your part, and you just kind of let me do my thing and figure out and kind of start to find a voice. And I think I thought I had a voice throughout this process. And I think like starting this doctorate program is realizing like, well, I was just starting to have some level of a voice. And I think I'm moving towards it, but I think Next Level and you served as like a great foundation for me to say, okay, you can be somebody, you can grow, you're worthy. And so I think it's just, I don't know, there's a ton of gratitude there for what's the challenges that we've faced together and gotten through together.
It's been the hard, like when you look hindsight, it's like been hard, but it's been so magical too. Like it's been the best shit ever. Like I would redo it all over again in a second. I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
I would go through it again. So support Blake next journey. We're still gonna, Blake's gonna still do some consulting for us because he is. He's not gonna be able to go away fully. And will always be my co-founder, and now is following his next journey. And like I said, the biggest thing, like when I remove any abandonment, anything, is like, I'm so freaking proud of you for following your heart and your gut and going after your dreams, because that is hard. 90% of the world will not do that, what you're doing. So big congrats.
I agree with that for sure. And I mean, believe me, like the looks I've gotten when I tell people like I'm leaving, like, what are you doing next? I'm not 100% sure. I've got an idea, but I'm not 100% sure. I've gotten a lot of weird looks, but you know what? When something feels right, I think, and if you're privileged enough to have the opportunity to take some time to figure out what you want to do, like I am, I'm in a very lucky position to be able to do that. And so I'm just following through.
Walks by the way.
Yep. Comes Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy.
She's the reason why I'm privileged enough to be able to do this and kind of take the time. And she's always been very supportive of every step I've taken.
Law firm partner.
Yep. So, I mean, but it's not like necessarily monetarily.
No.
I mean, just like, so I'm so supported in a way that I just feel,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't fail at this point.
Yeah, no, listen, that's what I said when we were starting this, and you had all those clear job offers, and I had, all these, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like I go get a job, what's the worst that can happen? I knew, like, and the thing with knowing, like, nobody else needs to know. Nobody else needs to understand. As long as you were clear and that's it. With my marriage, I had to go through that for about a year. My kids thought I was maybe having a midlife crisis, or I was a lesbian, or like I heard all these things. No, I was following my gut and my heart, and it made sense to anyone else, but like I knew, and I've never looked back, it was the best thing for me, the best thing for him, the best thing for my children, and nobody needs to understand that but you. And that's like the best gift that you have right now, is like, you don't have to explain your shit to anybody. This is your journey. You just do.
Sometimes you gotta do you. You gotta go take some time away from everybody. Go in the lab, concoct a better version of yourself, and come on out, and then show it to the world.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for right now.
That's my plan too. Not chosen or wanted, but accepting and embracing.
Sometimes those are the best.
A new era begins. My love for you and your wife will never go away. I know the love for my kids and me will never go away. And it's just onward and upward, and into a new era we go.
Yep, exactly. I'll be rooting you on, and Next Level on this whole time, for sure. No question.
We'll be cheering you on. We'll be hiring you for shit. So
perfect.
You're not gonna fully
I need a job, people.
shoot. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Please follow Amanda Marino, Blake Cohen, Next Level Recovery Associates, and follow Blake's doctorate journey. He has a whole TikTok on it, on what he's doing, through his PhD program, and just please support him on his next steps forward. All right. Have a lovely
Bye.
one. Bye.